Hi everyone, welcome back to another prenatal Pilates session. In today's session, I'm going to be focusing a lot on lower back pain, which is super common when we are pregnant. And the reason for that is because we see a massive change in weight distribution. We see that anterior tilt of the pelvis. We see that our abdominal muscles start to get a little bit more lax, as well as some hypermobility that happens all around the body as we prepare for childbirth. So I'm going to be going through with you 3 ways to help resolve or at least alleviate some of that lower back pain. And if you are pregnant, this session is perfect to be doing right up until the 3rd trimester. Obviously just exercise caution, listen to your practitioner and listen to your own body and make sure that every movement feels good for you. But all you need for today's session is a mat, a set of light dumbbells. Let's get started. Okay, finding your way over onto your mat, we're going to start with the very first thing that I'd like to encourage you to do when it comes to lower back pain, and that is mobility through the hips, the glutes and the hamstrings. So start off in a cross-legged position, take your hands onto your knees, and we're going to start with some nice big pelvic rolls. If you've got a Swiss ball, this exercise feels really good on that too. If you don't, you can do it seated the same way that I'm doing it with you right now. So we want to draw nice big circles with our spine, really focusing on mobilizing not just the lower back but the upper back too. So that mid-thoracic part of your spine. So quite often when we're getting that lower back pain when we're pregnant, it's because the back is taking a lot of that pressure because something else is tight, whether it's the hamstrings or the glutes or the hip flexors, or it could be the way that the baby is positioned. So let's go the other way. So introducing a little bit of movement into your day can be a great way to help the baby find more space and for you to alleviate some of those aches and pains too. Drawing one nice big circle and through, and then center your feet on your mat, hip distance apart. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll the knees over towards the left and then roll them over towards the right. So this one is just a nice gentle knee roll, but what it's doing is it's encouraging internal and external rotation of the hips, which once again is all about creating a little bit of extra space through the pelvis. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful work. And then coming into an all 4 position, 4-point position, hands directly underneath the shoulders, fingertips spread nice and wide. Going into cat-cow, take a nice big deep breath in. Hug the baby in the belly into the spine as you curl the spine up towards the ceiling. And then breathing out, sending the breath nice and in through the nose, out through the mouth. So encouraging a little bit of movement through that top part of the spine. Again, it's a great way to take pressure off the back. So we've spoken briefly about the importance of stretching and mobility to take the pressure off the lower back. The other part of the equation is your posture. When we are pregnant, the weight obviously starts to shift more out the front, which can cause us to go into a little bit of an anterior tilt position through our hips. So we're wanting to always be really mindful of that when we're standing or when we're walking, to be making sure that we're trying to pull or tuck the hips underneath us, aiming for that posterior tilt. So coming up into our kneeling position, so you can see what I mean. Obviously the weight will be out the front. What we're wanting to do is we're wanting to make sure that we're not loading up through that lower back. We want to tuck our pelvis up towards our face and make sure that we are encouraging really good alignment through the spine. Now, I've had a baby 5 months ago, so this is something that I'm continuing to work on in terms of getting that pelvis underneath me, because it is something that we can sometimes hang on to a little bit even once the baby is out. So let's have a little stretch to our hip flexors. Step the left foot forward. You want to, once again, tuck the pelvis up towards your face, that posterior tilt, getting a nice stretch through the front of that right leg, then pushing into the front of that leg, and then let's reach up and over. We're getting a nice stretch here through psoas, which is a muscle that runs to the front of your abdomen and also through your round ligament as well. and that round ligament does have to stretch tremendously when you're pregnant. It sometimes can cause a little bit of grief during your second trimester. It can cause some sort of sharp shooting pains down your leg or into your groin. Sometimes it's felt on the left or the right side, and it usually is a very quick, sharp shooting pain that is quick to come on and also quick to go, and it usually comes on when you have a quick change of position. So take your time moving into different positions if you're finding you are experiencing any of that round ligament pain. As I said, it does tend to come on during your second trimester, and sometimes it generally starts to leave by the third. Once again, change sides, right leg forward, tuck the pelvis up towards your face, press into the hips, and then let's get that nice little reach up and over, stretching out through the side of our body. So in today's session, we are going to be focusing on that third component, which is building strength within the TA, which is your transverse abdominis, those deep core muscles, your pelvic floor, and also your glutes. So we're going to start off with a little bit of glute work. So coming to a 4-point position for me, hands spread nice and wide on the mat. You want to hug and pull the belly up towards the spine, pulling the navel in, hugging the baby up and in. We want to move our left knee into the center of our hands, so we've got a nice little triangle there. Drift the right knee up off the ground, and what we're going to do is we're going to flex the foot and come into horse kick 1. We're going to bend and extend, really reaching back through that glute. Be careful that you're not loading through the spine, but overreaching through the glute. You really want to focus on the glute and the hamstring being the main muscle that's going to be lifting up that leg. Good. Keep hugging the baby and the belly in. So when it comes to doing core work when you're pregnant, a lot of it is that deep stabilizing movement, that anti-rotation. You obviously know that you want to be leaving out any sort of flexing through the spine. But exercises like this, core work, is super important to continue so that you're able to move through your pregnancy relatively pain-free and strong, and it will obviously promote recovery on the other end too. Good. If your wrists are feeling a little sore, you can weight bear up onto a couch, or you could possibly come down onto your forearms. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. We're going to bend the leg here now. We're going to come into horse kick 2. Take the leg underneath you and then shoot it straight up towards the sky. Flex the foot. Getting a nice little burn through the back of the leg. Once again, recheck in on your core and make sure that your hips have not twisted in position. 10, 9, 8, looking good. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold the leg up high now. Let's extend it out long. So we've got a nice long line coming out of our hip, and we're going to curl that leg in. These ones are hamstring curls. They're a great way to be working the backs of the legs. So all of this posterior work that we're doing right now is a great way to be strengthening up the hips, strengthening up the pelvis, strengthening up the glutes, which once again should help to take a little bit of pressure off that lower back. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Bring that leg back underneath you and let's change sides. So you want to have your right knee in the center of your hands. Let's drift the left leg up off the ground and extend it out long. Draw that navel into the back. Awesome. Looking good. Don't forget about that core. Don't forget about your baby. Hug the baby into the spine. Lift and squeeze. A little bit of tension through that pelvic floor. In through the nose, out through the mouth. If this is starting to feel a little tight through the lower back, just don't lift the leg up quite as high. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold the leg out nice and long, and we're going to curl it in and bring it underneath us. Horse kick 2. Flex the foot, drive the heel up towards the ceiling. Focus on keeping a nice alignment through the hips. Nice and slow down, nice and controlled up. Keep pushing through the palms of your hands. Careful you're not collapsing into those wrists. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then from here we've got our curls. Beautiful for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. So just then we've worked a lot through our big glute max. We're going to work a little bit through glute med now, which is great for stabilizing the hips, keeping you nice and balanced. So once again, this glute work is really important to be taking the pressure off the lower back, but it will also help alleviate any issues that you might be having through the front of your pelvis as well. It's quite common to get a little bit of inflammation as your hips start to spread, getting ready for childbirth, and making sure you're continuing to do glute work can really help stabilize that region. So let's take our left ear down onto our left bicep, and we want to have our feet in line with our bum and our knees together. I want you to crazy glue your legs together. We're going into clam here. So you're lifting up the knee and bringing it back down. You don't have to add a band to this exercise to really feel it. If you focus on really squeezing those feet together, you get a nice little sensation through the side of that glute. Once again, recheck in on what your belly's doing. If you are quite big and you're feeling uncomfortable in this position, pop a little pillow underneath your belly. But it's really important you focus on keeping your hips skewed tight, making sure that you're not rolling backwards. We're just opening up the knee and closing it down. Beautiful. Let's add on to this. So you're going to lift the knee and extend it. Bring the feet back together and close down. Lift. Extend. In and down. Great. Looking good. Make sure every time you're taking that leg out long, you're focusing on pulling the belly in. So remember, TA is always on. This is your core work. You're focusing on really stabilizing the spine here. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Good. Hold the leg out long. We're going to go up and down. So lift the leg up, control down. Good. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold the leg hip height. We're going to trace 10 tight little circles for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Focus on skewing those hips. Careful you're not rocking backwards for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's reverse it. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take the legs out nice and long now. We're going to go into a double leg lift. If you are in your third trimester and this doesn't feel good, possibly leave this one out. But otherwise, it's a relatively safe exercise to be doing right throughout your pregnancy. You're going to glue the legs together and you're going to lift the legs up and bring them back down. So let's focus on just doing the legs to start with. Squeeze and lift and down. Great for the working the sides of the waist. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go for 5 with our double legs here, lifting up and down. Good, excellent. Nice work for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's change over to the other side now. So push yourself up off the mat. Let's change directions. Coming over onto the right side body. Take your right ear onto the right bicep. And we're going to start off with that clam. So glue your legs together. You're going to open up through the hip and down. Good, looking strong, girls. Squeezing the feet together, and working that side of the glute. Good. It's only a really small movement here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we're going to add that extension. So extend the leg out long, bring the feet back together and drop it back down. Got the couch in the way. We work with whatever space we have. For 5. Careful you're not rocking backwards and forwards. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We've got up and down. I'm going to just move forward slightly. So from this position, the leg goes up, we bring it back down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We've got 10 tight little circles for 10, 9, 8, 7. Engage the glute. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 10 the other way. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Feeling that glute. 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. We've got our double leg lifts here, team. It's the last exercise of the morning. Glue those legs together. We're lifting up and coming back down. If you feel like this is pulling too much on your inner thigh, you're probably best to leave it out. Obviously, always just listen to your body. It's probably my biggest piece of advice to take away from being pregnant is just whatever feels good for you, just listen to that. Respect your own body. Add in upper body lifts too if it feels good for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. And then coming up, let's have a little bit of a stretch forward. Take the knees out, feet together, and stretching back into those hips. So just a little recap on today's session. Big focus was on that lower back pain and those 4 things that you can do to alleviate it. We can stretch, so mainly stretching out through the back, the hips, the hamstrings and the quads, the hip flexors as well. Trying to get a really mobile body. The next thing we can do is focus on our own posture, making sure that we're not hanging into the hips, so trying to get more of a posterior tilt through the pelvis. We can strengthen up our glutes, our TA and our pelvic floor as well. And then the last thing we want to be doing is we want to be making sure that we're following really good rest smart techniques. So have a think about when you are resting on the couch. Be careful that you're not slumping back into your pelvis, that you're sitting up nice and tall, that you've got really good posture. Have a think about how you're getting in and out of bed, in and out of the car, picking things up off the ground, changing directions. It can be really hard if you're looking after other little ones at home and you are pregnant, but just have a think about any movements that might be maybe exacerbating some of the symptoms you might be feeling, and see what you can do to try and obviously alleviate them. I found sitting on a sit ball was really good to encourage good pelvis alignment and also encourage movement as well. But let me know what you thought of today's Pilates session. Please feel free to comment below. Let me know if you are enjoying these workouts and if you want to see more. But thank you so much for joining me, and please feel free to share this with your friends. I'll see you later. Bye.